Up on some big news that's been going on while we've been away in the state of hockey and also the Mile High City. Now, this, what we're going to cover today, actually dropped before the night, you won't believe it, the night before we were due to fly out. Yeah, the night before we were due to fly out, this article dropped. And oh my, did our jaws drop as well. I don't think we could believe what had happened. But it does give some more clarity on what happened just before the season. This season actually began. So you got to cast your minds back to end of October, beginning of November 2025, and the Lansdowne 2.0 project, yeah, reared its ugly head, and as we all know, the Ottawa City Council approved that, although I don't think it was unanimous, was it? No, it was not unanimous. No. It did get approved, and the league made it very, very, very clear. You improved that. We're not going anywhere near that with a barge pole. And of course, us three, rightly so, supported that. We agreed that no, we should not be playing in a 5,000 seater because it is a 5,000 seater. Let's be honest. Let's not try and kill ourselves. And you got sweary. I did get sweary, but then again, these days, whenever I hear a relocation story, it gets personal to me because of what I went through in Oakland. Those scars are not going to heal. Even though I have happily severed all ties with Major League Baseball and hope you rot in hell and bring on the lockout in 2027. Wipe my hands clean of that shit. It still hurts. But so the night before, this article dropped on the box score, and it said that PHL in talks with Senators to keep Charge in Ottawa. Now, did we cover the Senators angle of it back in the autumn? No, I don't think we did. No, I don't know if we saw it or not. Because it was just all charge. Wasn't much from the AHL side. Yeah, again, we don't want the AHL to be anywhere near us with a barge pole. Yeah, because we know what we're doing. You don't. So, PHL official said that there have been constructive conversations in potentially teaming with the AHL's or Senators to secure its women's hockey franchise a long-term future in the Canadian capital. The discussions centre on the Ottawa Charge playing home games at the Senators Arena, Canadian Tire Centre. PHL Senior VP of Business Operations Amy Shear told the Associated Press the Charge's future in Ottawa is uncertain beyond this season due to the city going ahead with renovations that will reduce the city's current host capacity by about 2,000 seats. We've got a long ways to go to figure out where we are for the future of Ottawa, but the relationship with Senators has blossomed, she said during a video conference call. She referred to Senators President and CEO Cyril Leader as being a gem to work with. She and league officials also met with Senators owner Michael Anador while attending the women's tournament at the Milano Cortina Games in last month. The PHL has already established a partnership with the Senators, with the Charge scheduled to play Montreal at the Canadian Tire Centre on April the 3rd. That got announced during Milano Cortina. That did get announced during Milano Cortina, so we already covered that. To go check that episode out. Tell reports on that. The game is going really well. So hopefully that's the first of a really positive road for us to skate down, she has said. The Senators did not immediately respond to a request seeking comment. The Charge were one of the PHR's inaugural 6 franchises and have spent the first 3 seasons played at the city's centrally located Tiki Place, which is also home to the Ontario Hockey League's Ottawa 67s. The Asian facility has a capacity of about 8,500 for hockey, but the renovation will reduce that to about 5,700 with the additional 900 standing only spots. PHL said the cuts make it financially unfeasible to stay at Arena. The Charge averaged about 7,000 fans per outing over the first 2 seasons, with that number jumping to 7,225 over the team's first 9 home games this year. She had previously said the league was exploring all options, including the possibility of relocation. We will not go backwards, she said in November. PHL is expanded to 8 teams this season, with plans underway to add 2 to 4 teams for next season. Senators Home Arena is located about a 40-minute drive outside of downtown. I will not do the song. Please go. I will not do the song. The team, however, is in the early planning stage of building a new home closer to downtown. But that's going to take years. That's going to take years, yeah. They're nowhere near ready to start groundwork. No. They're nowhere near. No, they are nowhere near ready to get shovels on the ground. No. 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 So, immediately when I heard this, I thought, right, nobody can have a go at me anymore for saying that CTC can work. Because every time since the Landau situation, I've said, go and move to CTC, that's your only option. I've had people then come back to me, including Ian Cardy, say to me, no, that's not doable, it's too far. Okay, well, as I keep saying, look at the Boston Fleet. Look at the Boston Fleet, guys. Look at the Boston Fleet. Their primary home base is the Songer Centre. Again, it's not inside actual Boston. Okay, it's in Lowell. It's in Lowell. And yet, that arena sells out night in, night out. So, you can't say to me that, oh, it won't work because that's too far, when in down Songer Centre in Lowell, that's working fine. That is working fine. I know you'd rather than move to Dallas permanently, but not because it's too far. I just feel like it's a tiny bit bigger capacity, and it's actually in Massachusetts. We wouldn't have to do with those massive gaps between the boards and the nets. Okay. So, nothing against Songer Centre, just think. Okay, that is. No, so you can't using that to me as an excuse. Oh, it's too far. No, not gonna wash. Not gonna wash. Not washy with me, because Boston have done it for 3 years now and have done fine. So I think Ottawa Charge, if they were to move to CTC full time, will be a game. So either you two remember the numbers from last year's CTC game. I don't remember the exact number. Can you give me a rough estimate? Yeah, I can do that. Okay, roughly 11,000. Okay, that was also against Montreal. For the early games of the season last year. So it's roughly 11,000, but I can't remember the exact number. I don't mind. I just want a rough estimate. That's all I want. Because I can only do a rough estimate of last year's overall Tango Tour tennis. I can't give the exact numbers. I know it's roughly about 22,000, but that's more fine. Anyway, yeah. So that's interesting. We now know that after this season. Yep. Oh dear me, we are in trouble. Yeah. So, Because I think back in the autumn, we weren't really clear what the situation was. Well, us, we weren't really clear what the situation was with Ottawa's lease. Does it run out this year? Is it next year? Or is it 2 years down the line? Well, we now know it's this year. We now know it's this year. It's like, uh-oh, we're in trouble. Because obviously, we then, when we get to the end of this season, we have to start thinking about next season, what do we do in terms of the schedule and who's going to be playing where. Especially, you've got to factor in how many neutral site games we're going to have next season, how many takeaway tour games we're going to have next season. It's like, I mean, was 16 too many this year? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if next year's takeaway tour gets reduced a tiny bit. Wouldn't be surprised, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Depends how many teams come into the league next year. It does, yeah. I think they responded to the additional increase of Seattle, Vancouver, and thought, yeah, we can maybe squeeze a few more in, even though it didn't really work out of attendance, particularly in some markets. Chicago, Dallas, for example. Yeah. But no, I'm all in favour of the Charge moving to CTC. Because if there's one fan base in the PHR right now who I believe can fill out an AHR arena, it is the Ottawa Charge. And here comes angry Charge fans! I know! Of the inaugural 6, I'll say. Of the inaugural 6. Because I know, obviously, Seattle have done absolutely brilliantly this year. They have. Absolutely brilliantly. Which is why I'm a tiny bit concerned that the NBA wants to now expand to Seattle. Yeah. And this happened during our... This was announced during our trip. I'm a tiny bit concerned about that. Because Kyle Petrovich thinks the only arena would work, and that would then make it that would then make things tough, because also you then have AHL, NWBA, PHL, and NBA. That won't work. Yeah. So I'm a bit concerned about that, but we'll worry about that when it becomes official. Yeah. I think they've just approved. They have recently approved looking into it for Vegas and Seattle. It hasn't gone any further than that. If it does go further than that, it's a hefty price tag. Why? You're looking at expansion of about 7 billion, 10 billion. Jesus Christ! For a basketball team! Bloody hell. Anyway, so yeah, I know Seattle fans will go, hang on, we're doing it nicely now already. I know you are, but I'm talking about the inaugural 6 teams. Of the inaugural 6 teams, the Charge are the ones, I believe, who could easily pack in, night out. Because we've seen them do it at TV Place. You've seen their passion. That fan base is one of the most passionate fan base in the league. I mean, even Tessa and Junior, Drox and Jones got themselves banned in Ottawa. That's how passionate that fan base is. That's why if we ever do get to go to Ottawa, it has to be on a non-Frost game. Yeah, it has to be somebody else playing and not our Frost, so we can then just happily cheer along with the Charge fans and not invoke their wrath. Yeah. Because I don't want to be the second PHL podcast that gets banned. Thank you very much. So, anyway, but... yeah, so I am all in favour of the Charge moving to CTC. And if they can work in partnership with our Senators, and then, in a few years' time, when this arena gets built, the two of them can then just move in together. And then that makes it... and that would be more close to home. That would be more close to where you previously were. No problem. Okay? And what I'd say to people is, for those of you who really... I will let you two speak in a moment. No, you go. What I would say to people that are very sceptical and are just anti this move, I'd say to you, it's either we move to CTC or it's bye-bye Ottawa Charge. The relocation button will get pressed. Because there just is no alternative here. There really isn't. There just isn't. So, if you really want your team, to stay, then you need to make a compromise. You're going to need to make a sacrifice. And that is, unfortunately, moving to a venue that is further away from the downtown, from your centralised markets. That's where it has to be. Do we have any idea when the Senators expect that new arena to be built? No. Calgary's is during World Cup. Yeah, we did know that. We did not know that. We did not know that Calgary was getting a new arena built. We did not know that. And then the World Cup location came out. I was like, oh, Calgary's got a new arena. Lady, pull them back to the expansion talks! Pull them back to the expansion talks! You two won PHL Calgary. You two won PHL Calgary. She's still looking forward to the Taylor Tour game in Calgary next week. She's still looking forward to it. She's still looking forward to it. She could burst. Look at her right now. If you're not listening, if you're only listening, Lady's literally just bursting at the seams as we speak. I know how good a market that is for women's hockey. I know how good it is. Me too. Yeah. So just come on. And it also has got the Charge. Yeah. Who's the host of that? Is it Ottawa? It's Ottawa. Oh, racist dopes. Racist like that. Yeah. So So the way I see it, Ottawa, is this is the price that you will have to pay in order to keep the Charge firmly in Ottawa. If you really do want the PHL to stay in Ottawa, then you have to start thinking now, what compromises, what sacrifices are we willing to make in order to keep the PHL in this market? Fair? Yeah. Well, I'll hand back with you two. Yeah. So, do you want to go? I'll go. Yeah, you go. Yeah, so all bad points to George. I mean, obviously, I think this game, which would be, do you want to come to CTC? I'll come to CTC. Okay, right. So, I'll let you do that then. So, we know that from last year's CTC Go, that the Charge can pack an NHL venue. Now, 11,000, not be sniffed at. There. Now, what I think is interesting about the fact that Big 12 and Scepters keep having games in NHL venues in a recurring year-on-year basis is you get a picture of how well you can gauge the market. Yeah. Well, Scepters games are pretty much like hotcakes. Yeah, because you literally couldn't. You literally struggled to get tickets for those. Yeah, but I'm not saying move the Scepters to Scotiabank because I don't think that would work. No, would not work. No. Would be too much. Yeah. And also Bell Centre. It kind of feels like a Bell game because it's just so loud and raucous. Yeah. So Bell Centre has done it really well, and of course, Bell Centre, of course, has got the world record for attendance at women's hockey game. It's about 21,000. Yeah. So yeah. But Bell Centre. It kind of feels like a home when the Big 12 gone there. It kind of feels like a home of home then because the crowd are just as enthusiastic as they are when they go to Parsbell. Yeah, so you basically get your gauge of how these markets are working, and we know Minnesota first hand is perfect market. That's doing well. Boston's doing well. See how the new kids. That's what I said. The new kids. I almost got time there. Yeah. The new kids. They're doing well. What gives to York? I know. What gives? Yeah, what gives? What gives to York? Yeah. So, I don't think attendance would be a problem if the Charge moved from TD Place to CTC. Yes, there'll be some naysayers, but you know what? Naysayers can go and fuck themselves. Put that there. In fact, it's worth the full shake. Oh, yeah, it's worth the full shake. So here we go. Right, ready? Yeah. So, what about? Yeah. So, ha! It's worth the full shake. Okay. We don't want naysayers in our league. Nope. We've never wanted naysayers in our league. You can go fuck yourselves. You want to be a naysayer? Go watch the Celtics game. You want to be inclusive? You can watch a Charge game. Well, I said that. Yeah. Okay? And plus these days, who's more competitive? The Ottawa Charge or the Ottawa Charge? Ottawa Charge. Yeah, Ottawa Charge. So, yeah. And it's like you said, George, it's all about trying to make compromises in order to keep the team firmly where they belong. Yeah. Because we've seen it now across 3 seasons. The PHL does belong at Ottawa. Oh yeah, I mean, that playoff run last year really proved it. It is unfortunately, even if Ottawa had won that World Cup last year, this still probably would have happened. Yeah, it's interesting how you try and do a parallel timeline. To say, even if Ottawa did win the World Cup last year, this probably still would have been going on, and we still would be right back where we are in the first place. Yeah. We still would be stuck where we are. Yeah. So, really, yeah, there's not really much you can say about that. There's not really much you can say about that. Yeah, you can't really do like a parallel timeline because Charge, like, if Ottawa had won World Cup last year, it still probably would have happened. This still probably will have happened. So there's not really much you can do about that. Yeah. So, honestly, I would have no problem with the Charge moving from TD places to CTC full time, and it kind of feels a bit inevitable now. The fact that you moved one of your home games from TD Place to CTC at such quick notice, yeah, I think it shows that this now kind of does feel. There's an inevitability of it. You're going to have to face the music that it's either you go to CTC or you find a market elsewhere that will work and will have no problems. Yeah. Yeah. It's just where though. Yeah, that's the problem. This is where. So hopefully we don't have to go that route. But you got to start thinking long term. What isn't going to work? So should I go to CTC? Yeah, right. So this game at CTC on Good Friday is now more important than when it was first announced. Yeah. Because now this is going to be used as a test to see can the PHL work in CTC full time. So we look at last year's attendance, roughly 11,000 people. If the Charge can pull more than that, I actually haven't really looked at the ticket sales for that. Obviously I did it with the Takeaway Tour games, but I haven't actually done that with this one. So maybe I might do that when we come off the air, and we can look. We can gauge of how that's selling so far. Yeah, we'll do it afterwards. Yeah. We can do it with our last look at Detroit's attendance. Yeah, because obviously we are recording this episode just before the day before Detroit's Takeaway Tour game. So. It just now becomes all more important because if this game can sell well, then that could send a good signal that actually it can work being CTC. I just still wish it was a different opponent because they had Montreal last year. Yeah, you want to go like full proper blown comparisons. So like they got their powers when they played Montreal, and then maybe they got this many powers when they played Tio, or this many powers when they played us. You can't have one that. You can't. You do. You can't do one that as like a comparison. Well, we were expecting it against CTC this year. No, because they did say back at the council meeting, it did get brought up, and they said, "Oh no, we're not going to be playing one this year." Well, I think that just shows that things have changed. Or was that a tactic to say, "No, we're not playing at CTC. We actually are playing at CTC," because everyone on that council's thinking you're already going to move there. Yeah. So basically, not. So you'd be able to clever card to hold in the back pocket, to try and not give them any more ammunition already got. Yeah. Because in all these little gaslighting comments, the mayor did say, "Oh, they'll probably end up in CTC Wonder," and I was like, "Well, how do you know that? How do you know that? Have you got a crystal ball somewhere? Have you got a TARDIS? Are you the next Doctor? You not got a green cloak you put on your head and pretend to read people's fortunes, do you? It's like, get the tarot cards out. Oh, I can see. Oh, death. Death. More death! Yeah, I was like, how do you know that? Because you don't really seem like you're on good terms with Ollie. You just basically hate us. You know, you gaslight us every time something comes out of that mare's mouth. It's just gaslight. And then I'm thinking, C word. Yeah, well restrained. Yeah, just. Yeah. But to be honest, that would then mean we would have, what, half the league in NHL venues? Because currently, right now, it's Oz, Sirens, and Torrent. So, but if I was to move next year to CTC, that would then be half the league in NHL venues. That's not bad. Nah. Then again, but then you have to think, oh, who's then going to come in? Of course! Yeah, of course. Because who's then going to come in? And by how many teams and what markets? Yeah. So that's something like that. Yeah. But I do look at this Good Friday game now and think this is going to be a massive test for the Charge and the PHL. Because if it goes well, then that hopefully should make the Senators even more inclined to want to partner with the PHL and have the Charge be a co-tenant. So we know the Senators are playing on that day. So look at us. Yeah. We are getting very close to the end of this diabolical season in the NHL. We've all hated this season. Because it's been too condensed. Yeah. That's the problem we've all had as a collectively as a pack. Even Goose said it. It's been too condensed, and unfortunately, next year it's going to get worse because next year we go to an 84 game schedule at the NHL, which is just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. You do not need 84 games plus a 2-month long playoff tournament. Okay, you just do not need it. Well, the bright side is Florida's team's not going to make the Stanley Cup Finals. Small victory. Oh no, they're not. There's only 2 games in the NHL next Friday, and that is Hatters and Reeds are going head to head in Long Island. Oh, and Louis at Ducky. Aha, right. So there's only 2. Are we playing the Frost? I'll slow it up real quick. So our schedule next week is Wednesday. We're at New York. Oh. No, we don't play on Good Friday. No. We do not play on Good Friday. We do play on Easter Saturday. We'll host the Garners. That'll be at 7 p.m. our time. Yeah. No. Oh, it all gets sparsed out now. Oh, yeah. We've reached that point in the season where the schedule just basically gets all sort of sparsed. It's like, no, summer's coming. No! It's gone too quick, boys and girls. We feared it was when we got scheduled back October the 1st. It's gone too quick. But no, to be all systems go, we can watch that game next Friday. No problems. No problems. Kickstart off your Easter weekend. Yeah. So that should be fun. Yeah, but this is a huge development because now we've got the concrete evidence that there are talks happening. There are talks happening, and they're either going to go well or they're not going to go well. Obviously, we're keeping everything crossed they do go well, because obviously we do not want to lose Ottawa. Yeah, we don't want to lose Ottawa. I wouldn't mind seeing Ottawa again on our trip, because it was a great game to end the trip. Yeah, we had back on the 18th. It was a great way to end the trip. Yeah, so but yeah, so hopefully everything's gonna be fine. Yeah, he hopes. Yeah, hopefully everything's gonna be fine. But at least we now know that talks definitely are happening. Yeah, there are talks definitely happening in the league between the Senators, and because there's nowhere else to go. Yeah. Didn't you look at about Bellevue? Yes, because obviously the Senators' NHL affiliates are in Belleville. I had a look at that and I thought, no, probably. No. If people have having a hissy fit about CTC, you would dare look at what would happen at that. But I did look at how it's distance between that and actually being in downtown Ottawa, and it just didn't sound. It just didn't sound like a reasonable thing to do. It just didn't sound reasonable. No. But I thought, let's look at all options on the card here. It just didn't sound plausible at all. No, it's fine. It's fine. So, can I get YouTube's thoughts, or would you want Charge to CTC as sort of a closing argument? I know I do. I would be in favour of the Charge to CTC if that's the only option. If that's the only option, then I would. But I don't see any reason why they won't. I mean, because we know that we're not going to go to Lansdowne. T-Place is on its way out. You know, I just can't see a reason why you wouldn't consider moving to CTC. And yes, there's going to be the naysayers and the doom and gloomers, but what is the alternative? There's no alternative. Yeah. You do not want to have your team relocated. If there's one league I do not want to see relocation happen, it's this league, our league, because I know exactly what will happen. Yeah. I know exactly what will happen. You'll get cancelled. Yes, because I would have gone around spilling blood. So you would have been cancelled, George. So yeah. So it's to be sure, it's a good sign that talks are happening, because as we know, we are very, very, very close to the end of the regular season. World Cup playoffs are literally round the corner. We are a few weeks away from the end of the regular season. We are almost at World Cup playoffs. This year's draft in June will be here before you know it. And then after that, we'll have to start thinking World Championships. Yeah, that feels weird that after the PHL draft in June, we then start thinking about World Championships. Yeah. Rather than, oh my god, it's lengthy off season till November. Yeah. Yeah. God, we struggled last year. We did. We didn't even make it past the first week. That's how bad last year's off season was. We didn't even make it past week 1 of the off season already. We were just struggling. It's like, just get us there now. No, that's bad wishing your life away, but it was really bad. Yeah. So maybe the World Championships happening in November. That's gonna help, because obviously me and Lady, we're gonna do over the summer. We're gonna be doing World Championship coverage in the run up to those Worlds, which is November the 6th. 6th to the 16th of November. So I would not be surprised if we start next season at Thanksgiving again. Because if we try and start similar to this season, would be a week after the Worlds? Yeah. Will not be long enough for training camps. Unless you open training camps in September. Yeah, and do like a month-long training camp. I would be for that. I've always thought training camps in this league have been far too short, so I wouldn't mind that. No. No, but it's good that conversations are happening now because, you know, a decision will need to be made sooner rather than later because you then. One of the big things this summer is working out the schedule for the following season. Yeah. So, yeah, and of course in this league where you don't have home venues, you have primary venues. It just makes it all the more complicated. So good to see those conversations are happening now, rather than down the line. Yeah. So, like I say, we will keep a very close eye on this. We will keep a very close eye on this, and of course we'll come back to you with any more news when and if we get it. It's going to be very interesting last few weeks of the Charge. In the thick of the battle for playoffs, and they've got the arena issue right back dangling over their heads. Well, did Charge fans really think they were going to be able to go the full season without this rearing its ugly head again? Did they really think that? Well, we made it 75% of the way through. Yeah, that's fair. So, just had to do one more month then. Oh, but no. Not nice, no. But it's good to hear that conversations are happening, and they do sound fairly positive. Obviously, next Friday's game will be very, very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Very interesting. We'll see how that goes, and of course we'll be watching that game. We're debating on do we do a recap of it, because obviously I'm going to be doing recaps of the two in MSG and TD Garden. That's good for TD Garden. I think Goof's going to come on for that. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. He hasn't confirmed it to me yet. I'm waiting. We'll be seeing him next week. I will ask him then, does he want to come on? And if so, what does he welcome on for? Does he welcome on for the recap, or does he welcome and some thoughts from him about watching PHL properly, or does he want to come and I will see what happens. We'll talk to him about that next week. Yeah. I've got a funny feeling I'm going to be doing another attendance record episode probably very, very soon. Very soon. It is very highly likely that MSG is going to break Seattle's record next Saturday. And then the expectation is TD Garden will then rank second, so that means that Client Petrol then will be ranked third. Yeah, that's not bad. Top 3. Yeah, not bad. That's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah. But it's not easy. We know. We wish you all the best. Like I say, we will keep you guys up to date and posting when we get some news, when we get more about this fairly soon. But until then, take care, guys, and don't forget